Hey, how's it going? It's Fat Daddy Sambo with those nerdy metal guys, and it's time for another concert review. Today we'll be reviewing the Jinjer concert from September 27th of this year in Atlanta at the Masquerade. The Masquerade, for those who aren't familiar with it, is three clubs under one moniker. It's currently at Underground Atlanta in Kinney's Alley, and this particular show was at the Hell location. Hell is a smaller club, about 150, maybe 200 seat. I want to say it's 150-ish, but it was sold out and it was packed. And this wasn't a show where I was seeing a small crowd at the beginning with more people coming as the night wore on. It seemed like people showed up early to get up front because they knew that they wanted to be there for the energy of this show. Three bands on the lineup for this night. Jinjer, of course, being the headliner, but the opener, Sumo Cyco, was absolutely fantastic. And this is a band I wasn't familiar with. This is a band that's been around since 2011 out of Toronto, Canada, fronted by Skye with Matt D on guitar, Oscar on bass, and Matt Trozzi on drums. And, they just really amped up the crowd in a fantastic manner. They did about an 8-song set. Wasn't familiar with their stuff. I had to pull the set list later and go back and listen to it. And I have to say that they are a band that if you're going to do that, if you're going to go off this video and go and check them out, which I do recommend, please be prepared that their studio stuff is not going to sound the same as they are live. Live, they have so much energy and they are so much fun. And their studio stuff is just, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Some of it I really have a hard time calling it metal. It's more of hard rock. But live, man, they can throw down with the best metal acts. And they just really command the audience. They amp up the energy in a wonderful manner. Skye spent a lot of the night crowd surfing or riding on the shoulders of guys through the crowd. Just really knew how to command the energy for that night. And after the show, she was so gracious. Her and Matt D both at the merch table, spending time talking with fans, answering questions, posing for pictures. Even with an old guy like me, they were very cool, very laid back. The next band was The Browning, and this is a band that's been around since 2005. They're out of Kansas City. They're fronting by Jonny on vocals, and the lineup, Brian Moore on guitar, Colin on bass, and Cody on drums. And they're a band that, quite honestly, I had no interest in seeing. I've listened to the Geist album 10 times in preparation of going to this show, and could not wrap my head around what was so exciting about the Browning. And I had friend after friend after friend come to me and say, man, you've got to check out the Browning. And these are friends of mine from social media who, they live in Pennsylvania, they live in New York, they live in the Midwest, and they were adamant that I check out the Browning, and I just couldn't hear it. And I'm so glad that I stuck around in between sets, that I didn't step outside to get some fresh air or anything, that I stayed in there, because when they hit the stage, holy cow, man, it was gas on a fire. It was all the excitement and energy that was already buzzing through the crowd from the Sumo Cyco set. It went to 11. It just got completely amped up. Jonny had the mosh pit rocking all night long. And this was a hot summer night in Atlanta in a small, hot club. And man, you couldn't stay still. And if you weren't in the mosh pit before their show was over, they had a wall of death, and you were in it whether you wanted to be or not. It was just absolutely fantastic. And Jonny manned the merch booth after the set. Again, another wonderful, gracious performer, spending time talking with the fans, answering questions. I talked to him honestly about my opinions of the album, and he told me flat out that this is an album that was recorded to be played live. This wasn't an album that was developed through live experimentation and then put on vinyl. It was the other way around, and it shows. But I have to say that this Browning performance, it's in my top 5 shows that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of shows. I go to a lot of shows every year. And these guys are just absolutely amazing. Of course, this brings us to the headliner for the night, and Jinjer. And the focus for a lot of people is, rightfully so, it's on Tatiana. The whole band is absolutely amazing. A very solid, very technically proficient band. But when you've got this beautiful young girl who can sing like an angel in 1 second, and then boom, the demonic growl comes out. I mean, from her toes to the top of her head, every bit of her soul comes out in this growl. And you drop what you're doing and you focus on this. And I mean, I felt like I was in a trance at moments, watching her, just absolutely amazed with what she's able to do. And I mean, they started, it was a set list that you would have expected. I mean, they opened with Teacher, Teacher, they closed with Pisces in between. Ape, it was probably my favorite of a 14-song set, but absolutely an amazing set, a lot of fun. The mosh pit boiled out of the circle for much of the show. I'm going to go ahead and warn you now that if you are going to a Jinjer concert and you think that you're not going to be in the pit, think again. This is a metal party on wheels. Let me tell you, you are going to get sucked into the maelstrom and spit out and be completely spent and love every second of it. So, I can't say enough good things about any of these bands. Who's on my radar to see again? Sumo Cyco. I'd love to see them come to town again. Again, a lot of fun. Super nice. The Browning, wow. I'd love to see these guys headline or maybe be on kind of a doom metal type of lineup. Maybe they could come next time with Yob. I think that would be a fantastic pairing right there. That would just be a mind-blowing experience. Jinjer, I see Jinjer next time they come to town, probably playing center stage, maybe even the Tabernacle, going from the small club up to the 1,000-seater. And, as Loudwire said, they are one of the top 10 bands to watch in metal right now. So definitely, keep your eye on them, check them out if they come to your area. As always, we have to support our metal acts. We don't want them to go away. When you go to the show, if you can, these guys need you to buy their merch in order to make it to the next venue. That's just how it goes. So, times are hard all over, but we got to support what we love. Anyway, I'm Fat Daddy Sambo. This has been our concert review. Matty D did not accompany me to this particular show, just as a little footnote. He was sick that night, so my buddy Matt Bailey came with me, and he had his trial by fire in the mosh pit. Absolutely loved it. So another metalhead hooked. So I've been Fat Daddy Sambo, and have a great day, and horns up, man.